I'd like to call the executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, June 1st, 2026, 5 p.m. We will be moving into room 309. This was filed as an emergency executive session, and we will complete our business and return as close to 6 p.m. We will discuss the following: Russell's Mills Historic District Commission versus the Buzzards Bay Coalition, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to the Select Board's potential intervention of litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. McDonald, seconded by Mr. O'Neill. We are all here, so we will take a straight. No, we will do a roll call. Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Tattlebaum? Chair votes yes. We will return as close to 6 p.m. as possible. I'd like to bring tonight's meeting of the Select Board to order. Monday, June 1st, here in room 304. Our meeting is being recorded. It's being shown live and then will be available on YouTube, so keep that in mind. And we're going to start by all standing and remain standing, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, as we stand for a moment, I'd like you to send your wishes to the servicemen currently serving here and abroad, and of course, to keep in mind all the service members who have served our country before. Thank you. All right, we've got a big night ahead of us. We're going to start off with some good things. So our first item is to recognize the first class of our Citizens Academy. So Mr. Haddad, would you tell us a little bit more about the Citizens Academy?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair. So this was part of the Select Board's goals that were adopted in November to create more transparency with the public, more education and citizen engagement. And so we opened up Citizens Academy. We accepted 25 participants. There was a wait list. And we did eight sessions. We visited 7 different buildings throughout town. So we started night 1 here at Town Hall. We did a general government overview. Night 2 was at the police department. We did public safety. That included police. All 3 fire districts took part. Harbor master, emergency management. We did finance back here at Town Hall. We did every municipal department you can think of. We visited both libraries. We visited the school, the high school, where Dartmouth Public Schools and Greater New Bedford Folk Tech provided presentations. And so it was a great program. We had a very engaged group. It was, I think, impressive. The staff at first was a little, reserved, a little hesitant. And afterwards, I think everyone was really happy with how it came out. Had nothing but good things to say about the individuals that participated. Very engaged. We had a cross group. We had ages, varying from younger residents to older residents, some newer residents, some residents that have lived here their whole lives. So it was really great, and we look forward to doing this again in the future. And so we wanted to invite them in as the inaugural class and acknowledge them this evening.
Great, thank you. Just like any graduation, we are going to call your name. We're going to ask you to come up, shake hands with the board, and you'll receive your certificate. I'm only going to call the folks who we know are here tonight to kind of cut down on some of our time. So come on down, Deborah Joseph.
So we have a song, Pomp and Circumstance?
So official. Oh, and they're humming. Jessica Fernandez Gomes. Thank you. Heidi Rodricks. I saw him yesterday. Michael Donaghy. Thank you. Gina Dupree.
I see you again.
Thank you. Jim Boyle.
Thanks for coming.
Chester Tam.
Thank you. Nice job, Justin.
Yes. Yeah.
Of the very prestigious first graduating class of the Citizens Academy, is there anyone that would like to give us, and you will receive, they haven't received yet, right?
Yep.
You will receive a survey to give us input, because you're our first group, thank you for being our guinea pigs. Early on, Cody informed us that he had turned the hour-and-a-half class into a full 2-hour class, and on some occasions, 2.5 hours. So he's going to work on that, but it sounds like in the future, we're just going to know it's going to be a 2-hour class. But as far as the content goes, is there anyone that would like to tell us right now some pros and cons that we could be considering? Because we are going to be, our intent is to offer this again in the fall.
You know, hey, the only thing
I'd like you to come up to the podium, sorry.
Hey, thanks for having me, and Cody, thanks for selecting me. I think the things that I was most impressed with was the quality of what I've referred to as the doers in the town, the people that are out there day in, day out, doing the heavy lifting. They were absolutely impressive. Their presentations were very easy to understand, extremely well thought out. They did a super job. So we're lucky to have them. We're lucky to have them. So thank you.
Good to know. Is there another hand up? Perhaps not. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. We were thrilled. I sat in on a couple of the evenings and learned something. Even though I've been living here forever and been doing this for a little bit of time, still learned something. So I thought it was great. And to, I think now that all the department heads have done it once, I think there's going to be an ease for our next session. So tell all your friends about it. Oh, Mr. Tam, come on up.
I guess a little bit of feedback that I would like to say is that they did go long, a lot of them, and there wasn't really, I guess, an opportunity to actually like meet the person that was actually speaking because of that.
Okay.
So maybe make some time for that next time around. I think that'd be a good thing.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, another one. Come on up. Sorry.
I really appreciated it, and I loved how so much was revelatory. Like was already said, learned so much, all the nitty-gritties and everything, and I would really encourage everyone to advertise, make this a big thing for people in the town to know is coming, because I really think it's valuable. So
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Board, I don't know if anyone else had a chance to sit in on anything, if you had any questions or observations.
And the one I sat on, they had Chris Michaud, so you had somebody who's been here before, and they got to meet Devin, who's brand new to the town, which was the animal control officer. And I thought they did a great job. You know, with Chris, I mean, with Devin, there's only so much you can, talk about. With Chris, it's just so
Massive,
vast.
yeah.
I'm sure he didn't cover everything, but pretty much he covered it all, and it looks like it's going to be a hit, and, when Henry Ford made the Model T, he improved it with the Model A, and then he improved it again as they went along. So, this is a work in progress. It's a great thing. I've heard nothing but good things, and it can only get better. So, look forward to the next session.
All right.
Next time when we have people come up, we got to play pomp and
A little music.
circumstances. Yes.
All
So
right.
give them something, to march to. So.
Mr.
Say
Silva?
I had the opportunity to sit in on the DPW presentation, and I was pleased by the engagement, the questions, and it was great. I think I've heard a lot of positive feedback as well. And the only thing I would say, in addition to all that, is to encourage everyone that now you know how this town operates, you know how this town works. Get involved. There's a million ways to get involved in town, and you all have a better knowledge of how this town operates, which takes some time to accumulate. So that would be my encouragement. Don't let it sit there as knowledge. Put knowledge into action.
All right, thank you. Another round of applause for our graduates. I'm sure you'd like to stay throughout the entire meeting tonight, so thank you for that. We're going to take some things out of order, so I'm going to move our next item on the agenda, letter N, and that reads the possible revocation of appointment to Russell's Mills Historic District Commission, Andrew Sponberg. And I'm going to ask Mr. Attorney Savastano, our town council, to come to the podium.
Good evening. Good evening.
Attorney Savastano, we received word late Friday that the Russell's Mills Historic District had filed a motion in court. Let me get the regarding, in essence, what will be discussed tomorrow at town meeting, which deals with 4 Tannery Lane. And the agenda item for tomorrow, the warrant article, is for a conservation restriction in conjunction with Buzzards Bay Coalition. Yeah, but if you could tell us a little bit more about what was filed on Friday.
So a verified complaint for injunctive relief was filed on Friday. We were not given notice of this until after hours Friday. From what I understand, and I spoke to the court, Andrew Sponberg filed the complaint. He says, quote, as duly authorized representative of the Russell's Mills Historic District Commission. Well, that's not the way it works. That's not the way lawsuits work in this town, as you know. The select board votes to authorize whether to pay town council because it's expensive. Litigation is expensive. So they went into court without giving us notice on Friday, asked for a temporary restraining order. Fortunately enough, the judge was wise enough to question whether or not the town should have been involved in this in some manner or given notice. So she rescheduled, she did not issue a temporary restraining order, instead rescheduled a hearing on the motion for preliminary injunction for Tuesday at 2 o'clock and ordered, an unusual order because the town is not named as a party, ordered that the town be given notice, and so a summons was issued for the town to appear. The complaint, as I said, says, I, Andrew Kent Sponberg, as a duly authorized representative of the Russell's Mills Historic District Commission, and then he verifies a number of facts under the pains of penalties of perjury. I won't get into the details of those facts, some of which were concerning when I read it. But as way of background, this is regarding an application filed by the Coalition for Buzzards Bay to remove the structure of the home at 4 Tannery Lane, which was filed on March 16th. A hearing was held by the Russell's Mills Historic District Commission on April 21st, and a denial was issued. On the denial, it's a 1-page, and there's a section that says reason, there was no reason was listed. This decision, despite the requirement by the bylaw, was not filed with the town clerk. Instead, a member of the Russell's Mills Historic District spoke to our town clerk and said that he was told by a prior clerk, and then he changed his story. He said he was told by somebody in the current clerk's office that they did not need to file it with the town clerk. They need to file it with the building department. The bylaw is clear. It needs to be filed with the town clerk. And they have a deadline of 60 days by which they need to make a decision. I looked, as did other people, and after that April 21st meeting, we could not find any posted agendas for anything relating to approval of the filing of a lawsuit. There's nothing, so I don't know how he can claim he was a duly authorized representative, not to mention, as you know, there's a town council bylaw that gives town council the sole authority to represent town departments, boards, commissions in court. Since then, when you sent out this notice, upon my advice, we received a submission. I did not receive it, but it went to your office from Mr. Sponberg saying, filing of this lawsuit was authorized by 4 other members of the RMHDC as documented in multiple communications among commission members. I don't know where those were, and if Mr. Sponberg's here, I would like to ask him that question. What does that mean? What are those multiple communications and who the commission members are? So it's my position that this is not an authorized lawsuit filed by a commission. Beyond that, we have the issue of Mr. Sponberg and who I believe, based on information I received, 2 other members of the commission participated in the denial decision and or this litigation who were named as abutters on the certified abutters list. That's a direct conflict of interest and violation of the ethics laws of Massachusetts. If they're on the abutters and they have a financial interest in this, they cannot be voting, they cannot be participating in the lawsuit. So is Mr. Sponberg here?
Yes. Mr. Sponberg?
Yeah,
Yes,
no, I
please.
just want to ask him some questions. It's not a hearing, but I would like to ask him a couple questions about his submission to the board tonight. I'm not talking to you, by the way. This is not an open hearing, and this is not a forum where you can all shout out. So, Mr. Sponberg, if you want to get up, Dr. Sponberg, if you want to get up, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. You need to come to the
You
mic
need to
and identify
come up to the mic.
Just some questions for you, Doc. I'm not answering the questions now.
Okay.
Oh, can I just run through? I know I have a question myself. I have a question. It was stated that the last time we saw minutes, meeting request was for April 21st. In reference to what you wrote, that 4 members of the Russell Mills Historic District Commission authorized the filing of this lawsuit, when did the Russell Mills Historic Commission meet? It wasn't posted. And how did you meet? As a board appointed by the Select Board, you must follow the boards and commission handbook that we have issued. All meetings where there is have to be posted. Minutes need to be submitted subsequently. We see that a meeting is scheduled for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. to discuss the minutes of the April 21st meeting, but there has been no meeting in between on our calendar. And therefore, when you say that you have had a meeting or communication with 4 other members, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's a 7-member board. If you're talking with 4 members, you are creating an open meeting law violation. And whether or not you choose to answer the questions, I do not feel there need to be answers. I'm telling you the facts that I have. If you have facts to correct what I have stated, it would be in your best interest tonight to tell me and the board. You may read a statement. Would you please come to the microphone?
Select Board. Stated in my written statement submitted to the town administrator today, the authority to petition the Superior Court is granted directly to the Russell Mills Historic District Commission by Mass General Law 40C, Section 13. No meeting agenda or vote is required to exercise a right granted by the Massachusetts legislature. A hearing on the emergency motion for a temporary restraining order is scheduled tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the Bristol County Superior Court. Any action taken tonight to remove me will be brought to the attention of the court tomorrow morning.
Anthony Savastano,
That is just,
when I've read Mass General Law, Chapter 40C, Section 13, as well as our town charter and our bylaws, it states that you, or rather, town council, will bring any suit on behalf of the town.
more importantly, he's talking about open meeting law violations. He got up and totally misstated the law. He said that they don't need to have a meeting to authorize. Any discussion among the boards has to be in an open meeting, or it's an open meeting law violation. He talks about multiple communications among commission members. Those are all direct violations of the open meeting law. So in addition to violating the ethics law, now we have violations of the open meeting law. And what he just said there and what he put in your letter, that he's going to bring this to the attention of the court, I take that as a direct threat. Don't worry, I will go to court, and I will be the one representing to the court that any action you took tonight, and I will bring it to the attention of the court. But he didn't want to answer my question, when did these communications happen? Because clearly he doesn't want to share with us these illegal communications.
For some reason, he feels that there's no meeting agenda or vote required, which is incorrect. So I don't know what will happen in court. If the majority of the members of the Russell Mills Historic District Commission intend on being at court, they should have already filed for a meeting. Otherwise, they're again in violation of an open meeting law. This should not be new information to anyone that serves on our boards and committees, because you received and should have read or attend training, which I know at least 2 of you did, and would have heard about at least filing for a meeting date, complying with open meeting law violations, and subsequently submitting minutes.
Also, the other behavior which I touched upon, but I'd like to reiterate, is not giving us, intentionally not giving us notice and waiting until after hours. I got emails at 9:15 and 9:45 at night, sending things late at night or after hours so that we can't be present and let the court know what our position is also concerning. That's not how lawyers act, and that's not how certainly members of our commissions and boards should be acting.
And you are? Michael Wojciechowski, a member, long-term member of Russell Mills Historic Commission. Current chair?
Again, Madam Chair, it's not in here.
Correct.
So again, I'm Michael Wojciechowski, Chairman of the Historic District Commission. And it's true that we met on April 21st, and we issued a denied the request to demolish the house in the historic district. And our problem has been, since that denial, is that we have no communications with the town, and we have no backing from the town. And Mr. Savastano says, well, he's the first route we should contact when we want to pursue this in the Superior Court. But how do we go about doing that to get to Mr. Savastano? Do we have his phone number? Do we have his contact information?
You would call either the town clerk,
Yep.
who you would have filed that paperwork with, or the town administrator, and ask for that information, and either would put you in touch with either town council Anthony Savastano or Brian Cruz.
All right, so there seems to be a disconnect here.
I'll tell you why we do it that way.
I'm-
Because we're on the hook for every minute that they spend on Dartmouth business. So we do not allow
That's what I heard.
anyone to just call them out of the blue. That's why you are not given their phone number.
So in the past, we had an issue before this with another resident in the village, and we asked for legal expertise, and we filed the paperwork with the select board's office, and didn't hear a thing. We were just disregarded. It wasn't Mr. Haddad, it was Chris Vitale. But again, no information, and it's not good for us on our side to be left in the dark and not being able to do anything. So sometimes, like if you would do the same thing. If you're back to a wall, you come out and you have to do what you have to do. And we had to do something with legal action. So our bylaw says our recourse is Superior Court, and that's what we did. So there was nothing malice about it. It was part of what we read as far as our bylaws, which is the state chapter 40C.
So I am sorry that whatever happened previously with a different town administrator, but I would suggest going forward that you never look back on what happened with a previous town administrator, as that may happen again. But I'm going to have Mr. Haddad address that issue.
So the reference request for council form I did receive, it was denied because our building commissioner was working on that, and our building commissioner had reached out to the district commission, and I believe that matter actually has been resolved, right? You're talking about the solar panels? Right.
So how do you deny it?
Denied it because for the reason Ms. Silva Brooks just said, we're not going to
Who do you
frivolous.
notify that it was denied?
Can I finish speaking, please? I'll let
I
you
have been
speak. Can I
notified
finish
that it was
speaking,
denied?
please?
Excuse me, Mr. Wachowski. Mr. Tattlebaum, I've got it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
So our building commissioner was notified, and that's why he was in touch with the Historic District Commission, that he was working on it, and I believe it's done, right? So we look at these things, if we can handle them internally without council, we do that, and in this case, that's exactly what we did, and we saved the town thousands of dollars by not having to go to council.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I'm all for it. But we should have been notified that it was denied, that you were taken into consideration and it was denied. But there was no notification. There was nothing. And that's the part that irritates the whole commission. We get no feedback from the town. We're a town commission, and yet we're treated like aliens, you know? We're out in Russell's Mills, no man's land. And
The applicant who requested the solar panels
yeah,
had gone through, unfortunately, the Historic Commission
originally, I know.
originally.
That's right.
And then the Russell's Mills Historic Commission notified the building commissioner that there was a misstep, and the building commissioner took care of it with the resident who had the issue of the solar panels.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
right. So she was notified of what she or he had to do to rectify the situation, and I apologize that the board itself was not. And going forward, we'll make sure that that doesn't happen again. So, thank you.
We didn't like being left in the dark.
Okay.
And on another note, I know you read as part of your program, or Anthony did, about the filing of our decision. And I filed with the building department because years ago, I filed with the town clerk, and one of the girls in the office said, well, we don't have a file for this. You should file this with the building department. And for years, that's why I've been filing with the building department, because our bylaw also says we should file it with whoever's responsible for giving the permits. And so I thought that was a logical explanation to file it with the building department, because they would be the next in line to issue a permit. So this last one, we filed with the building department, and until I got a call from the town clerk and saying, you know, Mike, you should have come down and filed it with me. So I immediately came to the town hall and filed it with the clerk again. So it was filed twice with the clerk, and it was filed with the building department. It was filed with the building department on the 22nd, which is the day after our meeting, and that's typical of what I do. The day after the meeting, I usually come to town hall and file it, and usually. I've been filing it lately with the building department because that's what I was told to do.
Okay.
So I talked to the town clerk about it, and she denies it and said it didn't happen in her office, but it did happen. And
So we are going to relook at both the actions of our departments here and the actions of the Russell Mills Historic Commission.
Yeah.
And determine how we get to a point of moving forward. But tonight, as I read our item, tonight's discussion, and why I called Attorney Savastano to the podium, was the possible revocation of appointment to the Russell Mills Historic District Commission of Andrew Spomberg for the reasons that we stated.
Right.
So that is what we're talking about tonight.
I understand.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like the opportunity to speak again if I have to.
I just want to say something about can I ask you, because he won't answer?
You can.
Who was present and voted on the denial?
One moment.
On a denial
of this.
for the VBC?
For this. For this
Yeah, on the
property.
April 24th
One
meeting.
Tannery Lane.
Who was there?
Yeah, it doesn't say who was present and voted, and there are no minutes. So we talk about being left in the dark. We are being left in the dark because there are no minutes of meetings forever.
Tomorrow night at 6:30, and the only agenda item
That's on our agenda.
is
to vote on the minutes.
to vote on the
And
minutes.
then they'll be recorded with the town clerk.
Right, so who was present and voted on that?
I was, Janet Stanton, Gerard Coate, Andrew Sponberg, and Doug, no, Doug wasn't there, I'm sorry, Matt Kate was there. So there was five. Five of us voting.
And all five voted in favor?
No, 4-1.
No, four in favor, four denials, and one voted in favor.
And are you familiar with these communications that were discussed, the filing of the lawsuit?
Yes, yes.
And what are those, emails?
I spoke with him on the phone, and I spoke with him by email. And we're a very active commission, and we trust each other, and I depend on a lot of my members of the commission, and he's got a good handle on how to handle this, so he took care of it, and that was okay with me. So I didn't call a meeting.
You can't do that. Those are deliberations outside of a public meeting. Those are open meeting law violations. You cannot do that.
Well,
You
I'm sure
can't
everybody
delib-
talks on the phone.
No,
and
not on the
everybody-
boards that I represent talk on the phone.
Individual phone calls, but when they're
these
going
things-
to
these
make a
things happen
vote, that's
fast.
the
Making a
problem.
deliberation, you can post within 48 hours, and there's no urgency for this because no demolition permit has even been issued yet. So there's
I understand it was
there's no
filed for.
urgency.
I understand it was filed for. And the utilities were cut.
The utilities were not cut.
That's what was on the town website, in the building department.
It's not true. There's a
So
tenant, there's a tenant still
that's-
living there.
That says to me that something's imminent.
48 hours, you can post a meeting and discuss it in an open meeting so the public can attend. You can't do it on phone calls. You can't run town business on back.
No, I
backdoor
understand.
deals and phone calls.
You know, I didn't think it was an official act of the commission to have them petition the court.
But it became an official act because it was stated that it was voted on by 4 members to go forth, which is the majority. Right. Dr. Spomberg, you have something else to say? Yes, I do. Can you please come to the mic?
Do not have a copy of the papers with me. A couple of weeks ago, when this became an issue, I delivered to Town Hall, to Mr. Haydad, the town clerk, a letter concerning this matter. It was also left with the town clerk with the instructions to give it to the town solicitor. I believe that the copy that you have says copy to Mr. Santana. I do not have that with me, but that was a few weeks ago. And
Sure what the question was, but, okay.
I think it was that he's stating he wrote something to you and Sarah asking that a copy of the letter going to the town solicitor, but,
Yeah, Anthony got all communication on that. Sure.
okay.
Just two of those?
All right, well. Oh, sorry. Mr. Coop, if you'd come to the mic.
My name is Gerard Coate, and I've been a member of this Russell Mills Historic District Commission for many, many years. And I have to say that these last 3 or 4 months, 6 months, have been the most dramatic and problematic in 25, 30 years. And the problem has been in the town hall. And that's why we're here today. And this entire issue about 4 Tannery Lane has these arrangements about what the plans are, we read about in the newspaper. They had never discussed any of these plans to have a park or whatever they had in mind, except what we noted was that they wanted to take down the house. And that's what we voted on. We voted on not to allow the house taken down because it's an essential part of the historic district. And so now, and then we read into all these issues. And every time we read in the paper that all these plans, and people in the town, whoever they were, arranged for $500,000 to create this park. This place already has a conservation restriction. The conservation restriction is the house and the buildings. And nobody can build anything there without approval of the Historic District Commission. And so we tried to do our job, and we ran into nothing but issues with the town. Thank you very much.
Well, my rebuttal will be that I am sorry that you feel this is with the town. Article 4 tomorrow specifically states that we are providing money through CPC to Buzzards Bay Coalition to purchase the permanent conservation restriction, which currently the property does not have. That's all Article 4 is. The town, represented by CPC, started meeting to receive the proposals for funding in February of this year. I attended all but one of those meetings and saw the questions back and forth. They're open meetings. I went in not knowing what anything was going to be asked for. And I will say a member of the CPC board spoke against potentially Buzzards Bay Coalition's plan. However, the destruction of the building is not within Article 4 tomorrow. All that it is the conservation restriction. That's all it is. If you're a town meeting member, you've received your packet. It says nothing about the demolition of the house. As we stated, we are not here right now to talk about Article 4. We're here to talk about the actions of Andrew Spomberg, and as I stated previously, the information before us, whether you or he believe it or not, he has made violations to open meeting law, ethics violations, as well as being an abutter of the property, and perhaps the other members that also voted to go forth to the court may have also been abutters. Abutters should recuse themselves. And that's in our handbook and in our discussion, we always tell people, you must recuse yourself if you are an abutter, if you have any financial gain or loss. So, that being said, not to mention, while the act of which Mr. Coop brought to us, and I believe it's Dr. Coop, if I'm correct. You have your PhD?
It's called.
Coat, sorry. The item he mentioned earlier, where we did not send it to council, or Mr. Wojciechowski did, we did not send it to council because we had, the building commissioner was able to look it over and see the error, therefore saving us money. The act of Mr. Spomberg, Dr. Spomberg, Attorney Spomberg, on Friday afternoon has cost the town a great deal of money. Any member of the board?
Yeah.
Mr. Tattlebaum?
Yeah, hit David first.
This is the second time we've talked about this. We had a meeting last week about it. The democratic process has to play itself out, and obviously the actions you've taken trying to short-circuit that process. Town meeting will be there tomorrow to discuss this at length, in detail, and whatever people have to put in, and faith in that democratic process, what this is all about. And what you tried to do here, whoever did it and how you did it, to me is not only uncalled for, it's a disrespect for the process. We were advised by our town council how we acted, and we did it based on his advice. And tomorrow is going to play itself out no matter where it goes. And we'll hear all kinds of objections and also support for the project in whatever form you think it is. And I personally take an offense at the fact we have a disrespect for the process. And if there was other objections you've had in the past, I was not involved. We can't be responsible for those. But tomorrow's the day that all dirty and clean linen can be there. That's the way it works. And I think that it's a shame it's come this far. But tomorrow's another day.
Mr. McDonald, did you have anything?
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit more concerned with the open meeting violations. I mean, the discussion to go forward with the action conducted by Dr. Spongberg, four members of that commission voted in favor. So the question is how did they vote in favor? Was it done by email? Was it done by phone? Either way, it wasn't done in a properly posted meeting. So that opens up the town to it opens up to a series of open meeting violations. You know, I'll be honest with you, there's a gentleman from Alabama formerly living in Swansea that loves to file open meeting violations. He's done it to us years ago. He does it to other boards. He even does it to the town of Swansea where he used to live. So trust me, if he's going to see this, and he's probably going to file a violation. So that in itself is, I mean, you know, a decision like this, to go to court, made via emails or phone calls, is just egregious. It's wrong. And, you know, you've had members who've been sitting on that commission for years. You should know that a decision like this should have been made in a publicly posted meeting. And that in itself is wrong. And I have a problem with that. You know, and Dr. Spongeberg, you made that filing, and town council in the town didn't get notified until after the business hours. You know, you put the town in a very precarious position, and you cost the town money. And I'm sorry. You know, there was a comment made that, you know, you guys, the commission is kept out of the loop on a lot of things. I've been sitting on this board for 16 years. I haven't heard one peep from the commission at all, other than reappointments. Other than that, I don't hear anything from the commission. So it's a two-way street. That's a good thing, Sean. It's a two-way street. All I hear is what happens sometimes in, you know, the angry parts with anybody. You know, we all hear that all the time. But I just, as a parliamentary, I can't even say the word right. As somebody who
procedure.
believes in parliamentary
Procedure.
this just gets my goat. It really does. And I am just so disappointed in something this significant. You know, if it was a decision to not have somebody put up an umbrella, okay, then, well, you know, whatever. But something like this, to go to court, to cost the town money, made on a decision by emails and phone calls, without a public meeting, and a posted public meeting, is just absolutely wrong. Is just absolutely wrong. You know, as to what happens after this, I don't know, to be honest with you. But right now, I'm almost in agreement to rescind the appointment of Dr. Spongeberg and to suspend him from representing the board in any manner at all going forward. And I'm going to make that motion right now.
Motion before us. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. O'Neill. Any other discussion?
Repeat the motion, please.
The motion is to rescind Dr. Spongeberg's appointment to the Russell Mills Historic Commission and to suspend him from representing the commission in any manners going forward.
And I would add to issue the letter that's before you.
Yep, and, right.
They have to sign it. So we have a motion and we have a second.
Just a comment.
Oh, yes.
I don't think we've broken new ground, Anthony. We had to actually have you go to court to be summoned to court. Unprecedented, unfortunately. I'm wholly disappointed in the lack of procedure, in the perceived violations. So the only reason I second. I wish this would have been taken care of earlier, but apparently not.
In terms of process, how this works, so can you explain the process? So this letter rescinds the appointment, and then there's a process that goes with that, right? What I'm like, I mean, I believe in process. I believe in procedures, and I think they're put in place for a reason to make sure that the public has faith in what we do. Right, faith in what we do as volunteers for our town, and the idea that there may be ethics violations in terms of abutters voting on a matter that they have a stake in. I mean, I took my ethics training recently, and I know that it's not only our policy and procedure. That's mass law to recuse yourself from those types of matters. And then the open meeting law violations are a concern to me. But can you just explain the process on how this,
The end result?
well, how the,
What's next?
yeah, what happens next?
There's a removal process in the charter in section 6.9 of the charter, and this is the first step. This terminates his appointment to the board as a member of a multi-member board. It's effective in 5 days because there's a suspension. You don't want to take any actions in the meantime. God knows what would happen tomorrow. There's a suspension in the meantime, and that the letter addresses that, saying he's suspended, so he cannot act in any way on behalf of the Russell Mills Historic District until that takes place. He certainly can request a hearing, but the onus is on him to do so. I imagine the hearing will be just like tonight. We'll just go over the same facts and discuss the same concerns, which have now been admitted in public on TV, open meeting law violations, and no duly authorized votes taken at any posted meetings. So this, until and unless a hearing is requested, this is the final action the board would need to take.
All right, so before us, we have,
Mrs. Brooks?
oh, yes, Mr. Tattelbaum.
I don't take this lightly. I take it, this is not an easy issue. I've been working with Attorney Savastano for probably well over 20 years. He's represented the town. It's some major issues. His litigation, his opinions have been as good as one could. He protected the town in any case, and in this particular case, he's advised us of these violations. And there could be more because this abutter issue is also open and clear, but that's for another day. And based on his advice and counsel, I'm going to support the vote because I think it's critical that we support our council and we support our board, and we also let other boards know that these are the rules they have to follow. I believe in facts. I believe in detail. And that's what this is all about. It's not about taking a building down, and it's not about not having a park. It's about following the rules, period. From someone who's totally qualified to tell us what the rules are. And it's a shame because you think you're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to protect your town or your local area, but you went too far. And maybe others of you did as well. It had nothing to do with the issue itself. These are rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Before us, we have a motion and a second. We've had discussion, so I'd ask that we vote. All in favor of issuing the letter? Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. All right. You may.
Thank you.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Again, Michael Wojciechowski, Chairman of the Commission. And there's a couple of issues I just wanted to come back on. I know you talked about. One was the issue of the abutters. And because you're on the abutters list, you're not allowed to vote. The historic district is made up of about 31 homes. And we can't help it. We're all abutters. So we can't all not vote. We all live in the same area, the same district. So how do you resolve that when we're all abutters and we can't vote? Is there a clause in your bylaw that says we can bring outside people in?
We are actually going to look at that. As far as I know, Mr. Coote does not live in the district.
Mr. Coate does not.
He does not.
He's the only one that doesn't.
Okay. So we need to look at that because the most recent board that I can talk to you about is the Zoning Board of Appeals. If any of those members are in a butter to a project,
right,
they immediately recuse themselves, sit in the audience, leave the room, leave the meeting,
I can understand
and have nothing to do with that.
I understand that.
So in all honesty, this is something that perhaps hasn't come up before. in relation to matters in the Russell's Mills Historic Village as far as this level of concern and opposition, but it is certainly something, and as Mr. Silva stated, within the ethics training, it does talk about that. So as a member of all boards and commissions, you should be receiving the information to take the ethics training. And if you haven't, I will be talking to the town clerk to see that that happens. But we're going to clean it up.
Okay, that's good. The second item was not notifying Mr. Savastano. And I'm under the impression that there was an attempt to reach him by phone and by email, which both were non-answered before the court, before the meeting before the court. You don't know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that.
I didn't get a call till after hours on Friday, and I wasn't in the office.
After hours on Friday? You didn't get an email?
No, I would have jumped.
Where's your office now?
I have a couple locations, but I'm readily available through the town hall. And I'm also readily available through email.
Well, I think in frustration, they went down to try to reach you and they couldn't find you. So there was an issue as to where your office.
And again, people can't just reach out to me and talk to me. I'm assigned counsel to the town administrator. So any board or commission that wants town counsel has to go through the town administrator.
So that we can keep track of that bottom line.
We tried that avenue before, it didn't work for us, so that's why we jumped, we had to jump.
Well, the
to-
avenue that
We had to make a
you
move
say
'cause
didn't work
nothing
for
was-
you.
nothing was happening on your
You
end.
asked for the solar panels to be removed from that house.
Yes, we did,
And were they?
and that went through the building department, yes.
Solar
because-
panels were removed.
Right.
So in essence, it did work for you.
It did work, but we were left high and dry for a month or so with no communications, one way or the other, and we didn't know which way it was going to go, and that's not a good thing. There should be
That's
communications.
information taken.
Yeah,
We've taken that, and we will correct things in our house as well.
right.
So thank you.
And lastly, but not least,
Yes.
the Historic District Commission is a tight board, and we all get along, and we trust each other, and we work well together, and we have some brilliant minds on the commission. And if you're going to suspend Mr. Spongberg, then I think you should suspend me also as chairman, and consider the other members too, because they're all abutters.
Well,
Just-
it's not just the abutters, it's the 4 members of the board that voted for this to go forth violated an open meeting law.
I think it's a little harsh. And I think you got to agree, it's a little harsh to take him off the commission for sidestepping Cody Haddad.
Well, because there's a violation of the open meeting law. If Mr. Spomberg had stated who the other 4 members were that voted for that, then perhaps we would suspend all 4 for violating the open meeting law.
And I'd like to be clear, the reason why I voted for this is not due to sidestepping anything. I'm concerned with the issues of ethics. Ethics is critically important for anything we do in our community as volunteer members of boards. We're all volunteer members of boards. If we expect our community to maintain trust in what we do, they have to trust how we do it. And if we're violating ethics, that's a problem. People will not trust us if we are violating ethics rules that are plain and simple and easy to find, and we ought to keep informed of as we go about our work on behalf of the town. It's not a question of sidestepping, it's a question of ethics violations.
All right. So if we violated ethics, I can guarantee it won't happen again, because it's a lesson that we learned. I didn't know that. So now it won't happen again. If we have to discuss everything at a meeting and call an emergency meeting, then that's what we'll do.
Yes.
But at the time, it was dire to us because we got communications that said the building department had received information that the utilities were cut. And next thing we're waiting for was the bulldozer to pull in the yard. And it's just too late for that then. We can't just wait. And it's like you're saying, well, we're going to vote on CPC funds tomorrow for half $500,000 for whatever they want to do over there. But let's face it, you know what they want to do. They want to knock down the building. They want to build a park. That's what they want to do. mean, you gotta,
with that, they will
you
need
gotta
to-
look at the future as well as behind you. You know
That
what's
they will
coming
need
ahead.
to, and for that, they will need to work with the Russell's Mills Historic Commission,
They already did.
who from now on will be appropriately placing their agenda and their minutes, and will not be phone calling each other.
We always have. You know,
Okay.
like Sean said, you never heard from us before, because we keep things to ourselves in Russell's Mills, and we handle our own affairs, and we haven't had a problem, you know, up until the last couple of issues, but we sought legal representation, and we couldn't get it, and we were frustrated over it, and everybody was aggravated about it. And how come the town's not supporting us?
Well, I don't want to speak in broad brushstrokes. We've received a number of letters from a number of members on your board, a number of residents in your community, but not necessarily within the Russell's Mills Historic District, beyond the walls of that. But keep in mind, we've also received communication from others who do not feel the same way that you do, and members of the board that have gone forth. So, just so that you know. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, we're going to move on to introducing the, thank you, introduction of the Director of Environmental Affairs, Jen Miller. Come on down. So Jen, we've reviewed your application and everything, and have appointed you and then reappointed you because you needed some more time. So it's great to finally get eyes on who is this Jen Miller.
Can we just take a break, let him just
Oh.
leave the room? 1 minute.
All right, just hold on a minute.
Let him go.
All right, Jen,
Let him go.
tell us a little more about yourself.
Thank you all for having me here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity. So I've worked in a few other municipalities over the last 10 years since relocating back to Massachusetts. A native New Englander, I grew up in the New Hampshire area, and after going to school in Boston, I moved out to San Diego for about 18 years. Love that, but am glad to be back home and excited to get to know the town of Dartmouth and work with all of you, and you know, really interested in what kind of opportunities lay ahead as far as some climate resiliency projects, water quality issues. I grew up on the seacoast, and I'm excited to be working back on the seacoast.
Well, we're happy to have you. Anyone else?
I had a conversation with Mike Kehoe, who's on the commission, and Mike is ecstatic that you're coming aboard. To get Mike ecstatic about anything, I think speaks volumes about what he's looking forward to. Mike's a very low-key kind of guy, but he's very ecstatic about your appointment, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know, well, one thing, the history on this town, just to kind of let you know that Dartmouth is sort of the bellwether of water conservation bylaws and work, solely on the basis of our last two people in your position, Mark Garrett and Michael Riley. So I do know for a fact that many towns in the Commonwealth have copied Dartmouth's bylaws on this. So there's, I don't want to say there's pressure on you, but it's going to be welcome pressure. And we appreciate, I think you're going to, from what I've heard, you're going to do very well and fit well in this town. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it was great to have an opportunity to overlap with Mark for a few days in my first week here. I've never really had that opportunity, and there was a lot of institutional knowledge, so it was great to spend some time with him.
Like working with Santa Claus.
No, he was great. Lots of great stories.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Welcome to the team.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll let you move on with your agenda. Thank you so much. Thank
Go
you.
too far.
Okay.
You can just stay close, because the next item on our agenda is the selection of the representative to the Buzzards Bay Action Committee. And in the past, that has been Mark Garrett. And so.
Throw it to the Lions.
I'm sorry, my computer froze, so I'm trying to get back to it. So we are, Buzzards Bay Action Committee is asking us to appoint a delegate.
Do that right now.
To
Make a
their-
motion to
to-
appoint Jennifer Miller as our representative to Buzzards Bay Action Committee.
Second.
All right,
It dovetails, so. it'll be
exactly
fine.
what you're doing. Just that you know, the group usually meets the fourth Monday of the month from 2 to 3, and there is a Zoom option. So, and you'll get more information about that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yay. Welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda, we have Sail-Off Entertainment License, and I see Will Silverstein here, so I kind of think that he might be here for this. So Will, come up to the mic. I'm guessing. Could be wrong.
It's like his father. It's almost like a clone of his father.
Will has more hair.
Oh, maybe we'll see by the end of this.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just throwing you a bone, buddy. All right, so this is something new at,
Yeah,
down at the
somewhat.
Sail-Off.
For
Tell
us.
us about, yes.
Not at the sail loft.
Right.
I think, the technical term is we're requesting an amendment to our, I believe, liquor license to add an entertainment component. I'll provide a little bit more details. We believe that we are in the entertainment business. We're not in the restaurant business. People could eat at home if they were hungry. They come out to enjoy themselves, and there's been a strong history of music in Paden Aram, whether it be the Wednesday night concerts, what happens at the Black Bass. And it's a large component of what we do in our business at Cisco, at the National Club, et cetera. So what we envision is, first of all, we're 87 seats inside, or that's our capacity, I should say. It's usually going to be less at this time of night. I'll explain the timing shortly, but it is essentially for the bar area to add an acoustic in nature element to complete the ambiance. We've added Sinatra at Candela, and that's been a huge success, and it sort of just completes and warms the room. So that's our intent here. We're not looking to have any cost for this, ticketed events, and I don't even know if we're looking to drive more traffic, but rather just keep people who are there and round out the experience. I think we would probably stick to duos or less. I think the most popular group that comes to mind for me would be Jacob and Jackson. They're a known group that's that. I think we would try for once a week. Maybe Tuesdays would be good in combination with what happens on Wednesdays, and then potentially on Fridays and Saturdays. But it would be once a week. We'd play around with the timing based on the demand. I think our timing would be roughly 8 to 10. We're not a late night business. Our clientele is, not, they're usually up early and in bed early. We charge a little bit higher price, and those people seem to follow that routine. I think that, it will be a little bit different than what's happened at the Sail-Off under the prior ownership. I think that was, admittedly, I was there and involved, and it was a great time, but I think that the restaurant's grown up, as have I. I'm familiar with the ruling regulations around music in the state of Massachusetts, and particularly, in the last involvements in the last 20 years. We have crowd control and all the other factors at our larger facilities, and we're all educated on that fact. There will be no change in hours of operation, and I don't envision us playing the music any louder than we would play it over the speakers with it, through the iPad. So that is our vision and plan. We're in the early stages. This is really our first step.
Okay. In the filing, it's got entertainment hours Sunday 12 to 3, Tuesday 7 to 9, and Thursday 7 to 9, and those are the only days that it was listed.
I think we would like the flexibility to play music at any time within our operating hours, but I envision doing it once a week.
Okay.
But, I think that
How do we-
depending on demand.
You'll need to amend the application then, because you only applied for what?
3
Mrs.
days.
Silverbrook just stated.
Yeah. Which isn't,
Can we vote on that pending the adjustment?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that makes the most sense.
We will not, I guess we'll say we would like to during our traditional operating hours that we applied for, have the ability to provide minimal live music, I think with the terminology.
Right, so just amend that in the portal, but we are going to vote on that tonight in advance of the amendment. Someone like to make a motion?
Well, actually, as I guess the senior member of this board, sometimes music in the village doesn't mix. We've seen it on numerous occasions. But also as somebody as a participant and also a former worker at the old Seahorse Pub, old Sail Loft, what you're proposing is entirely different than what has been done in the past. And I think it'll work. As you said, your customer base is a little older, so it's our 60s and 70s that are now in their 60s and 70s that will be frequenting. So
When he said 10 p.m., that took me
yeah,
out of the ball game.
Yeah, that's bedtime for most of my generation. Unfortunately, not for me. I still hold bartender hours when I go to bed. So, yeah, I think this is something that's, it's needed. I don't whether it's needed or not, but I think it's something that'll be welcomed. And I think that's the most important thing. And I still can't get over the fact that how much you look like your father. It's almost like a clone. It's like ridiculous. I mean, well, anyway, that's aside. So I want to make a motion to approve this, pending the updated application.
Okay.
Second.
Second by Mr. Silva. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. All set, Will. Just
Very much
amend
appreciate
that.
it.
Thanks for waiting for us.
All right, next, in that same vein, we have Anchor Rock Vineyard. If you'd come on up. Thank you. So Anchor Rock, you're located at 205 Bakerville Road. Recently were in front of us for your
Correct.
pouring license. So tell us what you'd like to do.
Correct. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Steve Barakowski. I'm the owner of Anchor Rock Vineyards. I was last before you on March 30th regarding our pour permit for our farm winery. Following our approval with the town, the state approved our permit, and we opened fully on May the 7th. So we've been open now just shy of a month, and I'm extremely pleased with the very positive feedback we've received from our immediate neighbors and the broader community. We're off to a very good start and plan to be a positive contributor to Dartmouth for years to come. I am here this evening to seek an entertainment license between the hours of 2 and 8 on Friday, 12 to 8 on Saturday, and 2 to 6 on Sunday. When we filed our pour application, we sort of checked the box that we did not intend on offering any entertainment excluding background noise. We did that on purpose because we wanted to establish our foundation. And now that that foundation has been established, we would like to take a small step forward to broaden our appeal. When we designed our tasting room, we did so with forethought to mitigate and control sound. Some of these design elements include in the ceiling, the wood ceiling has a 1/2-inch slat spaces to absorb sound waves. Underneath that, we have speaker fabric also to absorb sound waves. So our intention is to offer live music inside our tasting room, but also offer on occasion, live music outside in our lower wine garden, which is situated about 250 feet from Bakerville Road, roughly 400 feet from the nearest neighbor. It's amongst 6 newly planted honey locust trees and 4,000 mature grapevines to the south. Also to sort of control the noise and sound levels, we invested in our own amplification equipment. And then finally, with respect to this sort of music we envision, we primarily envision solos and duets. And no disrespect to Metallica, we intend to employ acts consistent with our brand, wine, farming, community, and an inviting environment. Thank you.
I don't think Metallica fits with wine. So.
No, not even with red. I know when you came before us, my concern was about your number of parking spaces. So do you recall?
We have.
Why do I think you have 20?
What's that?
For some reason, I thought you had 20.
We have, I forget the number off the top of my head, but 15 is about the number of permanent parking spaces.
Okay.
In addition to that, we have overflow parking on grass.
Okay, thank you. I have not been up to your vineyard, I apologize, but that was, one of my concerns is that we maintain the parking off of the main road. You have not been open long enough to have complaints. We typically look for the prior year to, checking this off with the police department. So good news, in the short time you've been open, no complaints. When we look to do this in the future, we'll be looking at the complaint records from the police department again to reissue this. But as a first timer, we don't have anything, so that's good. So, anyone with questions?
Mm-hmm.
Nate?
So I'm just, pardon me,
Right.
I'm new to this.
You're new.
So is it, like, I mean, this is, like a residential area. Like, is there any way to do like a provisional, like, versus just blanket allowing it? Like, can we like do it for like a trial period to see if the neighbors do in fact complain? Like, like if there's an issue with the noise, because I see amplification.
We
talk
can
about
issue it,
amplification.
and as soon as the neighbors call to complain, we can call them back in.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done that in the past with a couple of places.
Yeah.
Where the neighbors have complained, we've had the hearing, and I remember, if I remember correctly, there was one revocation. The other one was a very stern warning to get their act together real quick, and they did. And we haven't heard from that neighbor since. So I don't think there would be an issue, speaking with the music that he's proposing. You're looking at the wine and cheese kind of music, which is the solo act, the guitar, acoustic guitar, and everything. I don't think they're going to have, sound amplification. And if they do, it'll be down to a level. And besides, we have somebody who lives on that road anyway. Actually, there's two people that live on that road that we deal with. And if they have an issue, I know they'll be more than happy to come forward. Right, Mr. O'Neill?
Right.
Attorney Savastano's gone, so I would ask him. So.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
But, sometimes the recommendations and the actions we take have ramifications down the line, which we are more than capable to correct. So, I don't have an issue with this. I think, and if basically this is a trial balloon for him, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we'll let him know about it. So.
Got it.
Not to be authoritarian or anything like that, but that's our role. We're put in that role to do that. So with that, I make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Mr. McDonald,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Silva. No further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Anyone against? Hearing no, congratulations.
Thank you.
And moving into the food world, common vic license for New York Bagel. Is someone here for that? 571 Dartmouth Street,
Former Sunrise.
former Sunrise. They have operated New York Bagel on Route 6 successfully.
Several,
yes, and one in
New York
Fall,
bagels.
yeah.
The new owners expanded quickly. So,
And has longer hours
Yes.
here than the New York Bagel.
Yes.
On Route 6. So we typically have them in. It's up to the board whether you want to approve this.
I would say any kind of
representation.
common vic usually comes to me
Yeah.
via the portal. But because this is a new license and new location, that's why it's before the board.
They're already operating.
Yeah, they're already operating, but they still need the common vic, so that's gonna go through the bureaucratic paperwork. That's,
It's what we do.
with that, make a motion to approve.
Made by Mr. McDonald, seconded by Mr. Silva. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Can get my bagel there tomorrow. All right. Next, we need a selection. Let me get to the correct wording. Selection of a representative. We're appointing a designee to the Joint Transportation Planning Group, JTPG, which is part of SERPED. And this is what we have we have had this in the past. It's yep. And in the past, we have appointed Tim Barber and Paul Duat, and I am seeking that we reappoint them this year.
So moved.
And seconded by?
Second.
Mr. O'Neill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes. All right, so that's done. Next, we have this environmentally preferred procurement policy. This is something that's standard through EPA, DEP?
DEP. It's part
DEP.
of,
I'm trying to save Cody's voice. We've got a long day tomorrow.
I appreciate it.
So this is environmentally preferred procurement policy. We've been operating in this manner, and we need to adopt it so that we will continue. And as you read through there, you will see that we're going to purchase products and services offered through the Operational Services Division of Environmentally Preferred Products and Service Guide, prioritize donation and reuse before disposal of goods or equipment, and whenever possible, utilize the state surplus property program, adhere to federal comprehensive procurement guidelines and other established criteria for minimum recycled content levels when purchasing office supplies, and prioritize purchasing products that are durable, long-lasting, reusable, or refillable, and avoid purchasing single-use products. Does anyone need more information?
I'm just wondering if this costs us any money.
We get money from this, we get grants.
Okay.
Yeah, so we get DEP grants annually, and one of the requirements is that we have this policy in place.
This is one of the rocks. I need to make sure we flip it over.
Yes.
My question would be, does DEP follow their own policy?
Right.
I wouldn't,
Very good question.
I wouldn't give DEP the time of day. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Next, do we have someone here? Yes, we do. All right, next we have the Apponeoganset Park and Dias Landing Project. We have representatives from Mr. Thornton to discuss this. And this is a presentation that was made previously to a joint meeting of Parks, Rec, and Waterways.
Correct.
Okay. Up on our screen.
Yeah. Hopefully I can get all that to balance.
I can interrupt real briefly. Is this the same exact presentation, or has there been any modifications based on the feedback?
It has been modified.
Great.
Based upon feedback from the last presentation. So, good evening. My name is Joe James. I'm a landscape architect with my own eponymous practice based in Bristol, Rhode Island. Been working with Brewster Thornton Group Architects and Par Corporation, who are civil engineers. Todd Turcott is with me today. He's a resiliency engineer and civil engineer. We've been studying we've been working on a feasibility assessment to develop some preliminary concepts for the park and for the landing. So I'll go through this quickly because it is fairly late in the evening now. We'll go through the goals, we'll go through some analysis and assessment of what we saw and studied. We'll talk about some opportunities and some preliminary concepts of how we've solved these concerns, and then we'll talk through some recommendations and phasing. So for start off, the goals were established by the original request for proposal, plus in conversation with the Parks and Rec Department, the Harbor Master, and the Planning Department. We should go through these quickly. Establish the highest and best use for the property, to maximize the use, to protect the property from sea level rise and natural disaster, to provide economic benefit to the town, to encourage public use, and to provide accessibility throughout the site wherever possible. We can note that these efforts build upon previous efforts of other studies, such as the Open Space and Recreation Plan, and also the Padanaram Harbor Management Plan. And so this project should help facilitate these goals, and our preliminary concepts should reflect all of this. So we'll start with some basic analysis and observations of the site. Starting with elevation and flooding, we know the land is susceptible to flooding and sea level rise, and the effects of that are visible on the site, and they correlate with the report from Sustainable Coastal Solutions back in 2022. It's probably actually gotten worse since the report. The report notes low points vulnerable to water levels at 4 feet, noticed in the yellow on the left-hand lower drawing. And then mapping that to the elevation of the land. The orange line contour notes the elevation 4, and so we not only see locations where water is coming up into the site, but we see close contours inside the property near the basketball courts that could potentially hold water. In addition, the high tide line noted in magenta reflects what we know, that much of the marina is regularly underwater during regular king tides. Finally, it's worth noting that the FEMA flood line for this property is at 21 feet elevation, and so new construction buildings need to be 2 feet, floor levels need to be 2 feet higher than that elevation. And some of the other images of what we see on the site, the existing seawalls being kind of deteriorated and crumbling asphalt pavement. So we feel there's an opportunity here to use hard and soft measures to reinforce the shoreline. However, the site will always be at some level of risk for sea level rise and flooding, and therefore our improvements need to be cognizant of the risk and designed accordingly. In terms of vegetation, the landing has a small row of street trees, but otherwise the extent of paving limits the opportunities for trees and other plantings on the site, whereas the park side is sparsely populated with trees, hardly any shrubs or ground cover other than depleted lawns exists across the site. The park feels like it would benefit from additional trees near the programmed areas, such as the playground, the swings, other picnic areas, while not obscuring any of the sight lines for concerts or obstructing the overflow parking. In addition, natural areas in the form of a vegetated berm or a living shoreline could add visual interest, as well as natural habitat and provide resiliency for storm surges. In terms of program, overall there is a nice mix of active and passive uses on the site, although what we've heard is that there are some that are less used at times, and some are some fan favorites, such as the concerts and the picnic area and the public beach. We think the opportunity here is to provide better access to these programmed areas as opposed to potentially adding new programs for the site. In terms of circulation, vehicular circulation, the landing side is fairly well organized in terms of parking spaces, and it seems to work for the boat launch and all the other activities, whereas the park side has some clearly indicated paving spaces in the darkest brown color, closest to the playground and the basketball courts. Otherwise, there's nothing that really indicates where people should park on the park side, and it limits the number of potential parking spaces. In addition, the kind of ill-defined and unclear parking layouts shown on the left and the evidence of vehicular mischief, such as kids running donuts in their cars, happens to exist out on site. So the addition of kind of organizing features such as wheel stops or posts and chains could really help organize the parking spaces. And switching to pedestrian circulation, there's limited accessible paths on the site, and each one fairly kind of dead ends at a feature such as a bench or the pavilion or the beach without any kind of additional connections beyond those. And there are breaks within the guardrail that separate the landing and the park, but there are no real pedestrian circulation routes in between them. In addition, you'll find out on site paths that abruptly stop, and then incomplete accessible connections where you're very close to being able to connect from the accessible parking to the circulation, but not quite. Additionally, something we've heard from the community is a need for a safe or a safer crossing at Gulf Road. And while this is something that is not really a part of this feasibility study, and we can't specifically address it, we do recommend, we do agree with the recommendation, as it would help facilitate easier access to the park, which is one of the stated goals of this effort. In terms of lighting, the site tends to be underlit for a park, but its limited hours work with that limited lighting. A gate would certainly help for safety in the evening, and it could really benefit, the park could potentially benefit with better lighting overall. The tall height of the fixtures and their 45-degree angle of throw works really well to spread light all across the park. However, it's not very pedestrian friendly, and it has a tendency to cast glare across the harbor. In terms of the architecture, generally speaking, the structures are in decent shape with some exterior painting and lighting upgrades that would be needed. The electrical outlet at the gazebo should be elevated for flood resiliency. The interior concession space at the bucket is constrained, but would benefit from a more efficient layout. The lavatories are in good shape, but they need a few minor modifications, especially the ADA bathrooms, so that they can be fully compliant. Also, the harbor office is small. It doesn't fulfill the purpose of the harbor master's site or location on site, and that could be a potential benefit to have a presence of the harbor master on the property. So looking at opportunities and preliminary concepts, we find that there's an opportunity to implement hard and soft resiliency solutions along the waterfront to protect the property from sea level rise. You can expand and enhance natural areas associated with soft solutions. You could provide shade in the form of trees to help encourage public use throughout the year. You could reorganize parking to expand access while maximizing and encouraging public use and promoting accessibility. You could add to existing circulation paths to create circuits and expand the passive use of the park. You could improve the lighting for nighttime safety, and you could expand passive enjoyment of the site with a community-based art installation. Oops. The proposed site design, as shown on the screen, addresses all these potential opportunities identified within the analysis. The proposed parking maintains the same footprint for parking while reorganizing it to maximize the number of spaces. Pedestrian circulation facilitates new connections between the site and the program, the accessible parking areas, the landing, and creates a potential circuit as a walking path throughout the park and connected to a harbor walk. Additional trees provide shade along the new paths and at the picnic and play areas, and areas of naturalized vegetation increase habitat while providing visual interest in the site. Breaking it down in a little bit more detail, hard solutions at the water's edge include a precast seawall or a stone seawall, both at the on either side of the landing in the location that it exists now, but being rebuilt, and then an additional one closer to Gulf Road. Rebuilding of the revetment, going from the seawall over towards the park side. And then its soft solutions could include an addition of a living shoreline at the kind of the point of the park, as well as some kind of low constructed dunes for the site. We kind of took a precedent and context clues from all the expansive areas of natural land here in Dartmouth, and also thought of Connecticut State Park as a precedent where there's a vegetative buffer between the parking and the shoreline. In terms of canopy trees, we've added a number of trees along the paths, creating a large space and gathering for concerts, but then also left the space open that operates as overflow parking for concerts. Reorganized parking looks as a series of accessible spaces divided between areas closer to the bucket and over to the playground. There's a number of spaces in this. I think we counted it over 100 spaces that you can gather up and collect by structuring a series of parking areas. I think you could do this in grass and gravel. A good precedent for that is at Casey Farm, where there's gravel drive lanes, there's spaces are delineated through wheel stops that are, in this case, cedar posts, that are very agricultural, but we could do something similar to the post and chain that exists on site. Pedestrian circulation, there's a series of circuits here that are connecting all the different features and providing accessible access throughout the entirety of the property, as well as a wooden deck associated with the harbor walk on top of a reconstructed seawall. In terms of site lighting, one idea would be to simply just relocate the existing fixtures as they are effective right now, but have them now work within the new parking area. A secondary option would be to use a full cutoff light, something that casts only to the downward angle, and spread it out throughout the site as a pedestrian set of light fixtures. In terms of configuring the architecture, the bucket primarily stays in as it is, although the interior renovations in the bucket area and the kind of kitchen area kind of reorganize in order to make it more effective and efficient. There's an idea of putting on an additional service, small rectangle here next to the walk-in, just adding on to the building and creating an awning above to separate some of the ice cream and cold service from hot service next to the kitchen. There were two ideas for a harbor master building. The first one might be a standalone building placed in the area just north of the parking lot. This would be a building that its first floor would be on piers and would be with breakaway walls, and the second floor would be the actual harbor master office, along with lavatory, utility, and an observation deck. It's sited in a good location. Here, getting long views of the waterfront. An additional idea would be to add a second floor to the lavatory space of the bucket, in which case you'd be building on the existing footprint, but elevating it to that higher elevation necessary for potential flooding. So in terms of long-term phased recommendations, this feasibility study recognizes these recommendations should be prioritized and then implemented as phases over time. Primary is to reconcile coastal resiliency and infrastructure improvements at the seawalls, and then afterwards a series of site circulations, park facility, bucket, and harbor master could follow as a series of improvements. So phasing would be primarily the waterfront as a starting point, and then features within the park, and then the buildings themselves. Thank you. With that, we will take your questions.
I have a question, but I'm sending it to Cody. When did this come up for an RFP, and what was our what were we trying to resolve? Which department?
We received a
trying
Seaport
to-
Economic Council grant for this.
Right, okay.
I can't recall exactly when it was received, probably 2 or 3 years ago we received the grant.
Okay.
Got to be at least 3.
Yeah, I think maybe, about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I had a couple of questions. Thank you. You mentioned a lot of trees. Will they be mature, somewhat mature, very young, or a variety in terms of all the different plantings?
Yeah, the trees would be a variety of different plantings. They would need to be, ones that are ones that would take the soil, the sandy soil conditions, but also the saltwater conditions. But it would be a variety of.
But their ability to, it could take a while for them to have any material effect, or do you take trees that are a little bit more mature so they take a little less time?
That would probably be a budgetary question on whether or not, larger trees, more money.
Dramatic change, yeah. Okay. Second question, you mentioned stairs on the Harbor Master. What about ADA compliance?
That is a great question. I think our understanding is that a harbor master, how do you describe that?
Oh.
Well, it would be through the full analysis during design, but for context, Mattapoisett, or Marion just built a brand new harbor master building. Theirs is ADA compliant, has an elevator in it.
Yeah.
And that's where we would think that this would be needed. However, there are some opportunities for seasonal activities down below that are not necessarily habitable long-term, so that they could use them as ADA accessible, where the harbor master would have to go down to them if they were not able to do that. But the code review was pretty clear that elevators would be needed, but if you had variance requests, that you could possibly look at those.
So it's a real issue between taking advantage of a second floor, but the extreme cost of an elevator.
Anything in the velocity zone, as Joe said, the ground is basically at elevation 5, maximum maybe 6 in some areas. We have to be at the bottom of the structural members has to be at elevation 23. So just to be in the velocity zone, we have to be 17 feet above grade. And that's pretty common, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In looking at this, did you look at the Harbor Master's current space and the other space that we have just down the road?
We did
The
not.
Maritime Center?
It
No.
was not part of the scope to actually evaluate his office space. It was more of a discussion from the harbor master. He rents that space now. It was a thought that long-term, this might be an area for that asset to be placed for the town, not necessarily that it was something that was going to be immediate or all the needs that would be done.
It fell to phased recommendation number 4. It fell to the bottom for that.
Okay.
One of the
Nate,
questions
did you
at the joint meeting was related to storage for like the music groups that perform there. Were you able to accommodate any of that in the revised plans?
I believe there is storage within, I'm not seeing it in here, but we did talk that through about, yes, being able to accommodate some of the additional storage for the music and
Some of the harbor master stuff.
yeah, some of the harbor master stuff as well.
But there was discussion about adding some storage onto the improvements of the grandstand area.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Chris?
So, Joe, this takes into consideration what we've got right now, right, on the ground. Was there any interest in looking, if we're going to, this is just a plan, is there any interest in looking at developing this, which is probably one of the greatest assets we have in this town, and going out into the northern portion of the inner harbor a little bit more and expanding the size of the land itself? Was there any discussion brought up about that? No?
And filling tidal waters is going to be extremely difficult.
Okay.
And absolutely probably not permitted at all.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a shame. In the electrical access, do we take care of that? We don't have any problems with electrical access for the bands, do we?
Well, he said we have to raise the, In the gazebo.
Using the panels in the gazebo.
Okay.
Low.
That would be advised.
Put on the roof of the canopy.
So when you talk about, or have you determined phasing? No.
In terms of cost estimating, our cost estimator was working on this last week, and we did not get a copy in time enough to have a proper conversation or even be able to present anything with any level of confidence in that for this meeting. But it is under review by Parks and Rec Department, Harbor Master, and Planning, Community Development.
Okay, then my other question is, what's the next step? They're reviewing it, Parks and Rec, Harbor Master is reviewing it. Then what?
We've prepared a feasibility report associated with this, and I think we're in discussion for potential grant funding.
To do the actual work.
One more question?
Yes, Mr. Tattlebaum?
When you did the expanded parking in the capacity, how did that relate to present use and future use where there's more activity? How did the ratio match up?
So if I understand your question, did we
What I'm thinking is you've developed organized parking.
Correct.
You haven't expanded the footprint of our parking, you've
Yeah.
just,
Well,
because right now, the first car that gets there determines whether they're parking vertical or horizontal.
which is what we
So-
experienced,
okay.
yes.
And so it meant the organized parking ended up with more spaces.
It did.
But the maximum, how does that relate the end result to what the future needs are going to be for that area? Any concept of that?
From our civil group, I think they were looking at it as what was there now and not necessarily an expanded use, because there wasn't really a change of use. It's the same use. It was more of how does the site also occupy, or how does the site actually hold enough parking for the concerts? So there's grass parking still that occurs. So there's the event parking that's always going to be able to occur. Nothing was really changing in the use or the expected occupancy of it. Keeping the park a park and not just making it a parking lot was.
So I'm just looking to the future of that area, so I understand. You tried to maximize the amount of spaces by organizing it.
Yes.
And this is what you came up with. And does that take into account, you would expect to get expanded use of the area over time? Simply by people love it and it's nice and you added things. How does that going to relate to the parking spaces you ended up with? I know the concert nights is a different issue because there's a lot more, but on a day-to-day basis, moving forward.
I think on a day-to-day basis, from what we had in conversation with the Parks Department is that this would probably be adequate for the day-to-day uses. It's the concerts that really is we were told we could never get enough parking spaces for the concerts. So it's really those kind of high activities.
I'm just trying to get a picture of the long-term use. Do you expect by this improvements to get more and different expanded use of the area because it's been improved, therefore there's going to be potentially a lot more activity of kinds, or is that really not the case?
I don't know if that would be the case, actually. I think we are trying to expand the use, but I think on a regular day-to-day basis, you probably won't need over the number of spaces we're providing.
So if we get 3 or 4 or 5% incremental use each year, at the end of 20 years, it may be enough on a day-to-day basis. Is that overstating the case?
I think it's a decision for Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's what I was going to entertain. Parks hasn't really given us a projection as to this is how many patrons or how many day-to-day that we're going to see in 20 years. It was really, how do we improve it? How do we make the experience better and not take away from the experience by adding just parking? It was keeping it within that footprint, maximizing what we had, and that was going to be sufficient for their focus and their goals. So we didn't look at a long-range planning like we're going to need 3% a year. It was just, this is what we're going to have. If that's a problem that we have in the future, we'll find a way to solve it then.
Okay. So that this is to take on incremental changes without any dramatic change, and that's up to the Parks Department to come back. Okay, fair enough, thanks. If I was confusing, I'm sorry.
No. It was a good question. It was it was a very different process what we were looking at, I think, than, that's a good question that should have probably been asked.
All right, thank you. We look forward to perhaps meeting with Parks and Rec and Harbor Master at another time.
Yeah, we'll share the final study with the board, and we can
Excellent.
talk next steps with the other two groups.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Good job.
All right, speaking of parking at the beaches, our next item on the agenda is to appointment of parking enforcement, and specifically this is to deal with a lot of our beach parking issues. All right, so in the past, I'm just really trying to save his voice. In the past, it's only been police officers, but in discussion with the chief, he is amendable for us to appoint both Rebecca Amaral and Harvey Barabee to be part of the parking enforcement team. Any questions?
As long as they get the proper training.
They will.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions? Okay, yes.
Been endorsed by the Park Department?
Yes. This was at their request.
Thank you.
All right, this motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Madam Chairman, just to kind of give an FYI to the board, because these are not, the two appointments are not civil service trained or whatever to do this.
Right.
The town is also eligible to designate one person in town to regulate and to ticket handicap parking in any location in town. The town would have to, I guess, adopt the regulation and then to appoint a person to do that. So I know one of the things that former Selectman Mickelson was always dead set against was handicap parking, and I'm sure we've all seen it, specifically door dashers and
Yes.
parking in the handicap so that they can grab food and whatnot. So I'm not suggesting that we do it, but we may want to think about it for the future. Because first of all, it would have to be the right person to use the right temperament and somebody who would be able to, I guess, protect themselves from anybody who coming out, seeing that their car is being ticketed, because handicap parking is a hefty fine. And speaking of fines, I've had a couple people talk to me about the box. The box being Fons Corner Road, Old Westport Road, Route 6, and people blocking the box. In the state of Rhode Island, there's an area there that Rhode Island does camera citations, stoplights, all like that. They don't do speed, but it's infractions. In Rhode Island, the box fine for parking in the box is not $100 like the state of Massachusetts. It's $500.
Wow.
My suggestion, I remember talking to Cody last year, that when we sit down to meet with Mass DOT, that they paint the box to somehow, whether it's slashes, but some kind of marking that, hey, people, this is the area you're not supposed to be in when you're stopped. So maybe we need to have that discussion with DOT about that. I know that they were talking about doing some improvements, and then the longer weighted Hathaway Road improvement, so maybe that can be part of it. I know the Hathaway Road, they're saying that the Hathaway Road improvements will eliminate any kind of traffic in the box, but anybody who's been caught in their town calls that complete bull. So,
But we do need to speak to DOT. We've been really
We need to
focused on
speak to
getting
the-
through tomorrow, but
yeah, we need to speak
that
a
has
lot
come
about
up several
DOT.
times at ZBA meetings when we're talking about the construction of the property on Hathaway Road.
yeah, that and the condition of Route 6.
Yeah, so we'll put that on our,
Sorry to interject.
no.
and go off
While
tangent,
while
but-
we were on the subject of parking enforcement, it fit into the discussion. All right, next we have.
I know my wheelhouse.
Looking for a call for art live at,
You can skip that. That was part of the full packet, but we don't need to do that.
so do I go to
The Serpent Commission.
the Serpent Commission appointment form?
Yeah, that was for a representative.
Okay. So next we have, my thing is frozen again, I apologize, I'm going to have you.
So yeah, that's fine. We annually appoint representatives to represent the town on Serpent. Historically, it's been the assistant town administrator. Over the last 6 months, it's been myself and Mr. Carrero as the backup. In all honesty, I've had to attend meetings every Wednesday, so I haven't been able to attend Serpent. So I'm requesting that the board appoint Melanie Perry from my office to serve as the representative. I think she'd be, I think she'd be the best person
For
to
her.
represent the town.
Been there, done that.
All right.
Make a motion to
Motion.
approve, yeah.
All right, motion made.
Is she agreeable?
Voluntold.
Has anybody spoken to?
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah, just want to make sure she's agreeable.
So motion made by Mr. McDonald, seconded by Mr. O'Neill. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone saying no? We'll find their name on this paper.
She's calling his phone now.
Yeah, right.
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
she's home watching this. All right, next, we have, I'd like us to look at the next item, which in your packet is page 72, which is a letter of resignation.
I don't want to look at it.
And I know that in the past, we've accepted these, but I'd like to not accept this one.
Yeah, really.
This one makes me really sad. But in speaking with Sue, I get it. And we can't compete with the offer that has been made to her or this opportunity for her for personal and professional reasons. So Sue Cunningham will be with us through Friday, July 10th. As our Human Resources Director in her, and I will say short time, because Chris and I brought her on just around the same time you came aboard,
I think she joined about
Cody.
a month or two before I joined.
Yeah, so in a year, she has just made an outstanding contribution to all of our departments, to the town, to Melissa Jerome specifically, who I just, can't say enough about the team that she created in that office. And she's a big hole to fill. What is on our agenda tonight is that we need representatives from the select board to sit on the HR director's interview team.
First of all, we have to accept the resignation, so I make a motion, we accept the resignation of Susan Cunningham as HR Director with regret.
Second.
With regret.
Yes.
I like that, with regret. All in favor?
Crying emoji on the letter.
Emoji.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? I'd like to say I am, because we don't, I went into her office last week and said, I'm here with duct tape and wire ties, and I'm going to secure you to your desk, and you will not leave, but that's not happening. So we've had in the past two, is that what you're looking for? 2 members of the select board to be involved in the interview process to
Madam
find
Chair,
a successful
Can I just
candidate.
make just a
Yes,
quick note
Chris.
on this? So when we talk about being competitive, this is one of the issues that we have in the town. And people have to realize that how disruptive it is when we have such significant positions in town to fill. And we do the most earnest job we can to try and bring whatever dollar we can to make it competitive, play around with the benefits package. and do the best that we can to get the absolute best talent in the town, just to be within 1 year taken out with an offer of, I don't know if I'd want to say how much it is,
Couldn't
but
refuse.
a considerable increase in the package. So, listen, I've said it before, I don't want to be the highest guy because we're very cognizant of exactly how much of the tax dollar we pay for these positions, but we also can't be the lowest. We need to be at least middle or a little bit higher in order to keep quality people in this town. This is a huge disruption. We can't, she's going to do what any other person would probably do in that situation. But we just have to make sure the public's aware that this is what we're up against. It's not easy. It costs money to keep good people and to run an effective and efficient town. So we're trying to find the funds to make these positions as competitive as possible. Thank you.
And Chris, I think it's appropriate to say that she was made an offer of more than $30,000, more than what we are currently paying her. And that is not something that we are able to match or beat. We have to take this one on the chin and know that's out of our wheelhouse.
Right.
And going into it, we want to replicate her skills and personality that she brought to the table on a budget.
Yeah, you can't chase, you can't chase numbers that are just not affordable for us, and I get that part of it, and I don't want to do that either. But people have to realize what we're up against trying to fill these positions, and it may seem like an exorbitant amount of money to pay people, but these jobs are very important. They're very time-consuming. They require a lot of expertise to keep the town out of litigation, and these positions, it sounds like I'm queuing up the next person, but I am. These jobs are very, very important to how we run this town.
Just for the mere fact that the quickness in posting and the quickness in getting people on board as compared in the past has just been absolutely, it's a 180.
Yep. She's posted,
within this
helped
1 year,
each department
that whole
head.
thing
Yep.
has changed.
Yep.
It took forever for something to get posted, and it took forever somebody to get on board.
Mhm.
And that changed. And this is,
And the process.
Right, and the
She
process.
informed people that the application had been received, that the process was
'cause
starting.
that was one of the feedbacks from a lot of people who applied in town, is that once they applied, they never heard anything.
Right.
Whether they were accepted or, they didn't get anything.
Did you get my application or not?
Information.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's important, because that also tells people the tenor and the way Dartmouth does business.
Right.
If you're going to apply for a job in the town of Dartmouth and you don't hear anything, then why would the next guy want to apply?
It's not a good look.
Right, exactly.
And she, as you said, within a year, she turned us around. We can't go back.
Yep.
That being said,
I'd be more than happy to be one of the members.
okay.
I haven't done a good interview in a long time.
You served on
Oh.
Jess's, right?
Yes.
Communications?
Yes.
So you did a good job.
So you did a good job.
I know. Well, that's a long time. Jess has been with us. It's almost like old hat. So,
I have
And by the way,
time and
I
opportunity.
just want to
but-
say.
Yes.
All right, and I know this is totally off topic, but Jess, through her diligence in looking through closets, found out that Dartmouth used to be part of the old, of the Boston Post cane. And she found a cane.
Yes, she did, yeah.
And for the longest time, people always said that we never belonged to it, but evidently we did, because it says Dartmouth right on the cane. So that's a relic. It can't be used again, because now that we
We're
found
going
it.
to honor it,
you know.
and we now have coins.
We got a
which
coin.
every 100-year-old person gets to keep.
Yep.
We don't have to trace it down.
Correct.
Which is
All
the
right, sorry-
issue with
sorry
the.
for the-
No,
that
that's
was not
okay.
out of
That
my-
wasn't
that
really
was-
a good
it was
segue, but
kinda
it.
like right out of
yeah,
there,
I'll, you're on a roll now because you had a good segue. So we have, Mr. McDonald said he would be a member. I don't mind being a member. If anyone else would like to, I'll be an alternate if the meetings are not at a good time. It's up to you. I don't know what's on your plate. I don't want to throw you.
No, it's fine.
Yeah?
You want me to be on it?
Yeah, do you want to be on it?
What,
Come on, get your feet wet.
Sure.
Come on, get your feet
Haven't
wet. Let's go.
interviewed anyone.
I'll do it.
All right, so we have Nate, Sean, and I'm the alternate in case whenever it's made, people can't attend. Sounds pathetic. I got nothing going on in my life. I'll do it, but that's not the case. All right, town meeting prep. What we have before us in the packet is we've frozen
It's
again.
just the motion.
Your
It's just-
script.
It's
Yeah.
just the motions for tomorrow.
We typically, if we didn't have a meeting the night before, we'd meet first thing in the morning, but I didn't see the need to meet ahead of time where we're meeting tonight. So if there was anything last minute, the only thing I wanted to mention was, I had previously mentioned that Articles 19 and 20 would need a 2/3 majority, and the law actually changed in 2023, so those only need a simple majority, so
Okay.
all articles will only need a simple majority on the warrant tomorrow.
And we will be taking, we have the special town meeting, which is just 3 warrant items. We'll be taking that, pausing the general town meeting, taking those special town meeting 3 articles, returning to the spring town meeting warrant. And there may be, per the
Moderator?
moderator, couldn't come up with that word, moderator's request, there may be items, articles that are taken out of order. That being said, I did run through them. I don't see a reason that we have to
No,
go
we don't
through it
need,
tonight.
no, we don't need to run through this.
That's your script, anyway.
Coach,
Okay.
please don't do that.
I know. Like, please leave me alone. And that was the last item in our packet. So, moving on, town administrator update.
Yeah, so just a few things. Obviously, we have town meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We have the dog park ribbon cutting ceremony this Friday at 9 a.m. The Dartmouth Regional Parks and Trails. So if any of the board members are able to attend, we'd love to have you there. Something that I think has been a priority for the town for some time. We finally got the Round Hill Road, Ray-Pack Drive.
I saw the pictures.
The worst, we weren't able to do the whole thing due to some conservation concerns for right now, but we did get the worst section done. So we got the 600 feet that was in worst condition paved today, so that's great news. We also got this back parking lot paved, so that's been in the works for a while. The Feel Good Fair, in conjunction with the town of Westport, is being hosted this Saturday, 11 to 2 at UMass Dartmouth. Free yoga, free food, and a free petting zoo. So feel free to stop by there, our Dartmouth residents and Westport residents. And then just congratulations to all Dartmouth High School graduates, which took place yesterday.
Yes.
All right. Nothing this time to report on proposed town projects. Anything on old business, 40B update?
40B, the ZBA did issue a comprehensive permit for the former Hawthorne Country Club. Sherbrooke's next meeting is June 8th. Hathaway Road's next meeting is June 11th. And then on the preserve on Route 6, I had previously mentioned to the board that there was a disagreement on building permit fees. We did come to an agreement with the developers. Essentially, they had previously paid for a couple of building permits under the new fee structure. The town will retain those fees. However, going forward, we do have to revert back to the previous building permit fees when the application was submitted. But we did, we came to an agreement on that.
Okay, great. Wisconsin, Lake Nokichoke, municipal broadband, nothing new. Okay. We have no minutes to report, so I'm going to go to select board updates. Mr. McDonald?
No.
Okay. Mr. O'Neill?
I just had a question about the issue that we had down at the beach. I know that the
Which
permit-
issue?
With the crowds down there, when we
Okay.
had that first day of beautiful weather, we had a lot of problems down there, I guess, and access for emergency vehicles, et cetera. So my wife had me go online and do the permit this year. June 1st, is that the day when it starts? When is it?
15th? Whoops.
13th, so all permits are effective June 13th?
That's when there starts to be someone at the gate
At
to
the
check
gate.
your permits.
Okay, all right. So if we, because people were inquiring about starting it earlier, having the permits effective earlier, what that would entail then is having somebody available at the gate, number one. I don't know if we could do it with lifeguards or without, or if we'd have to have the lifeguards there, or just posted that we don't have them. But I didn't know, if there were any plans on the rec board to look at this, or?
We have, excuse me, some of the software we're looking at would be a plate reader, and so we may not need someone down there physically earlier in the season. So we are looking at other options for early in the season next year.
But also keep in mind, also in that diatribe, there was also people concerned that they could not access the bathhouse. And that's not open until the beach is open.
Right.
And it is posted that there are no lifeguards. But that all comes down to, time and staff and money. And I don't know that we're at a point where we're going to be able to expand staff time. So people need to be cognizant of that. Anything else, Mr. O'Neill?
Nope.
Okay, Mr. Tattelbaum.
Just briefly, you and I, Mrs. Brooks, attended the civics presentation at UMass Dartmouth, and we had a handful of our Dartmouth high school students there, and a great event, a proud moment for not only the Dartmouth students, but the whole crowd there, the high school students picking highly controversial or important issues and making projects out of them. It was a really privilege to be there. They're really well done, and hats off to the staff at the high school that put that together. And we were also sat at the graduation, and an incredibly proud moment. So well done. The weather was cooperative, and great students, great speakers, and it's a privilege to be there. And it's as I said, it's the most well-attended event in the entire school calendar.
Right.
Because it's a great event in a family's history, a graduation, whether it be kindergarten or high school or whatever it is. Graduations are great, and it was really something so well done.
And the weather held.
It did. So thank you very much.
Mr. Silva?
I'm all set, thank you.
All set. I brought the paperwork from the civics project showcase, just so you can read down and see all the different presentations. As community adjudicators, we looked at 4 projects with a 5th of our choice. It was very well organized, and it's the 3rd year that Dartmouth schools have been involved. First year that they've extended an invitation to members of the select board and school committee to be sort of the viewers of, which was a great experience. Also, I do have, in case you're interested, I attended the vote graduation on behalf of Dartmouth and was the speaker, and Dartmouth High School, and this year Cody represented us at the Bristol Aggie graduation as another Haddad was graduating, so it was a perfect evening. He got a lot of rain. You got a lot of rain at yours.
Is that where you got your cold?
I got a little bit at Voc. It started, Voc graduated 491 students. About student 200, it started raining. So we were quite wet by the end. But again, as Mr. Tattelbaum said, just great events. Seeing our kids graduating and hoping they're off to make good decisions. Shwiz na cabeça. And that's all from me. Tomorrow's a big day for us. We have town meeting, and then we can get back to the work of government.
Well, we are doing the work of government.
Yes, we are, but every day.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you all tomorrow.